Oh, hi. Out here in a place that I very seldom frequent, which is my backyard. Came across some parsley seeds the other day, and I thought, why not start my own little herb, beginning with the parsley. So I'm going to put a little bit of organic soil in this pot, wet it down a little bit. I made sure I got a pot that had a hole so I could get some drainage in there. Got my little parsley seeds that I'm sprinkling all around. Then I'm just going to top it off with some more soil. One thing I like about growing herbs, you can always bring it in the house, and that's what I plan to do once the weather starts getting cool. But for now, it's nice and sunny. It's going to stay right out back. Put that down. Put a little bit more water down. You ever go to a restaurant and they have parsley on your plate? Now, I don't know if you knew or not, but it's there for twofold. To garnish and to freshen your breath after your meal. So maybe the next time you could try it if you haven't already. So I'm going to put my little stick here. Not that I won't know what it is, but it makes me feel happy when I do. So we'll watch this grow together. But in the meantime, I want to go inside and dissect the pumpkin, get the pumpkin seeds out of it, the puree. Let's see what we can do, okay? All right, everybody. Now I'm in the space that I do frequent often. I am going to cut this pumpkin up, take the seeds out of it so we can roast some pumpkins today. So I like to start with, it's kind of tough, but I like to start with taking the top off. As you can see, I got a wet rag or towel down underneath to keep it steady. I'm cutting my top off because this is hard. All right, now we got that top off. That was tough. I'm gonna lay that to the side and I'm gonna cut off my bottom. Then again, I don't have to because it's pretty flat. So now that I have a flat surface, I'm going to cut this right in half. And the reason why I do it like this is because I just want to take out my seeds. I'm not carving it like a jack-o'-lantern or anything. So I'll just take my fingers and pull out the seeds and put them in some cold water. The cold water will help take all that fiber off of the seeds. And for this pumpkin to be pretty small, it has a lot of seeds in it. So today I'm going to make that savory rosemary and salted roasted pumpkin seed. Okay, now I got all the seeds out of the pumpkin. So now you want to take off all this fiber. Okay, and the cold water helps it do that. And you're going to put your clean seeds into your colander. You don't want to leave none of this fiber on because you're going to roast these peanuts and they're going to go in your mouth and it won't be very appetizing. So let me finish cleaning all of this off and I'll show you the next step after that. Okay, now your seed should be looking like this, and you want to take it over to the water and run it under cold water. Make sure you have all the membrane and all the string off. The cleaner your pumpkin seed is, the better you'll enjoy it once it gets So now, the next step is to put it in some boiling water. You want them to boil for about 10 minutes. The reason being is because we're going to roast these in the oven and you want them to be as crispy as possible. And boiling them first helps to do that. So I'm going to throw away all this and we're going to come back and I'm going to show you what to do with the flesh. Now, remember this that I took the seeds out of. There's still a lot of string in there. It's kind of hard to come out. But after you bake it in the oven, all you got to do is use the spoon and it'll come right up. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of olive oil around the flesh of it just so it doesn't burn. And I'm going to put it down on my baking sheet. You don't have to use aluminum foil. I just did that because I don't like the way my pan looks. So I'm brushing it with a little bit of oil just to keep it from burning or sticking. Putting it on my baking sheet. I'm gonna place it in the oven you bake it like a baked potato. So when you stick a fork in it or a knife in it, if it's nice and soft, then you know it's ready. But it's gonna bake for at least an hour. Okay, now when your seeds, once you drain your seeds from after they've boiled for a while, 10 minutes, you want to just lay them on a paper towel so they could dry. They kind of like to have the tendency to stick a little bit, but if you have time, you could take it all off. Today I'm going to use a rosemary that I chopped up like this, and I'm going to sprinkle that on there. A little bit of sea salt I'm going to put in there, about a teaspoon. A little bit of crushed pepper. And my favorite, olive oil. Maybe about 2 teaspoons. And you just mix this all up together like this. And then you're going to put it on your baking sheet. I got a baking sheet here that I'm using parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, it's fine. You could just put it right there on the pan itself. And you try to make an even layer. Now some might think that this is too time consuming just to have fresh pumpkin seeds, but once you taste them, you'll be glad that you did. So I'm going to put these in the oven for about 20 minutes. Halfway through, 10 minutes, I'll check them. You don't want to bake them too long because they can burn and then they won't taste too good. Okay, I'm back. Remember that pumpkin I put in the oven? It's been just a little over an hour. I'm going to show you how easy it is to remove the skin. You could just simply take your fingers and just take it off like so. This is the part that's going to get pureed in my food processor. And remember the flesh that was out there, and I told you all you needed was a spoon. That's all you need. I have the spatula, and I'm just going to take it off like that. It just comes off so much easier once the pumpkin is baked. Okay, little piece that's hard, I'll just take that off, scrape it like this, and I'll just put it right into my food processor. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can use a blender. If you don't have a blender, you can use a mixer. If you don't have a mixer, you can use a plain old, and I forgot to bring it out, potato masher. You know that manual thing that when we were kids, our parents used to use? You could use that. Okay, So I'm gonna show you again how easy it is just to take off this skin. It beats using a knife. It beats boiling it, taking off the flavor, taking out a lot of the flavor. You got all the flavor left right into the pumpkin's flesh. So I'll take this and I'll turn it on high. Check it. It's nice and soft. Let's see. Now this is the puree. You know that puree that you get in the can that people use for their pumpkin pies? This is fresh puree. You don't need the, I'm gonna put it right in here. It lasts in the refrigerator for at least 2 weeks. And I'll just put it right in here. You use this in place of the can. For your pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, pumpkin cake, pumpkin cookies. And later on in the show, I'm going to make some pumpkin waffles. Okay, so that's all out. And we'll leave this to the side until I'm ready to use it. Remember those pumpkin seeds that I put in the oven about 20 minutes ago? Well, here they are. Rosemary, salted. When you salt your pumpkin seeds, you want to get like a kosher salt or a sea salt. It makes it taste a little bit better. I'm gonna put them on my plate. Oh wow, these are so pretty. So I'm gonna take one just to show you just how crunchy it is. Take one. Flavorful. Do you hear that crunch? Very good. I'm gonna take one more. Delicious. You could eat them with the shell on. You already know that if you love pumpkin seeds. But anyway, if you want the full recipe, want to ask me any questions, email me at itsallgoodtah@gmail.com. I'm also on YouTube now. So you can go to It's All Good Teresa Ford and give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, make a comment, and please subscribe. In the meantime, I hope you learned something today. I hope you liked this show and try the recipes. Until the next time, have fun. Hey everybody, it's me again, and just in case you haven't noticed, it's all about the pumpkin today, okay? It is the season, so I'm gonna make one of my favorites, and that is a pumpkin waffle. This is a Belgian pumpkin waffle. So I have a cup and 1/3 of sugar here. Excuse me, not sugar, flour. I have 3 tablespoons of flour. I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. This is a spiced pumpkin, so I'm going to use a teaspoon of cinnamon and 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. Now, if you don't have the pumpkin pie spice, it's okay. Just put 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and a teaspoon of nutmeg, and you'll be fine. So as you noticed, I stirred this all up because we want to keep the ingredients, the wet ingredients, separate from the dry ingredients. I separated my eggs, 2 large eggs, and I'm gonna whip up my egg whites. This this is going to take about 2 minutes. So when they get nice and white and fluffy, I'll come back to you. Okay, now my egg whites are all fluffy. And we're going to make sure that's going to be in the mix last. So we need to keep our dry ingredients separate from our wet ingredients. So here I have 1.5 cups of buttermilk. My 2 egg yolks. I have my melted butter. Make sure that your butter is cooled, because if it's not cooled, it'll curdle. Then we have, remember that puree I made on the last show? We got 1 cup of fresh puree. Now, if you don't want to use the fresh puree, it's fine. All you have to do is use it from the can. So now we're going to mix this all together. And let's not forget a teaspoon of vanilla. The vanilla gives it nice flavor. So now I'm going to take our dry ingredients and I'm just going to make a little well and mix it to our wet. Take my spatula, make sure I get all that goodness out of there. Don't want to waste anything. And stir it up. Remembering not to stir too much, because if you do, you'll have a nice dense, flat waffle. So those egg whites that we made nice and fluffy earlier, we're going to just fold it right into the mix. Now this step isn't really mandatory, but I like to do it because it really does make a difference in the crispness and the light and fluffiness. So you just stir this until it's nice and incorporated, but remembering not too much, just enough to get it incorporated. So I'm gonna stir this up and then we're gonna make us some waffles. Ooh, so now as you can see, I got the mix all mixed together, all incorporated. Opening up my waffle iron, I'm gonna just put a little bit of butter on there. I'm gonna take this spoon, I guess we'll put about 1 cup. A little bit more. Please don't spill over. Okay, and then we'll put just a little bit of butter on top. Okay, so this will bake for probably about 3 minutes. And then when it's done, we're gonna have us a nice waffle. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. I decided that I have to try it. So I just can't give it to other people to try. I have to try it myself. So put my little bit of butter on there. Sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar. Little bit of syrup, and it's warm. And then I'll just take a little bite. And it's hot. Mm. 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 So light. It literally melts in your mouth. The pumpkin, just the right touch. Spices. I'm telling you. If you're on a diet, don't try it. But if you're not, please do. I hope you enjoyed this show. Remember, if you have a comment, you want to write me for the whole full recipe, I'll be more than happy to do it for you. Write me at itsallgoodtah@gmail.com. You can also look for me on YouTube. It's All Good, Teresa Ford. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, make a comment. Please subscribe. Let me know how you feel. In the meantime, enjoy, and until the next time. Hey everybody, this is part 3 of It's All About the Pumpkin. Today I am going to make a pumpkin seed brittle. So if you like peanut brittle, you're gonna love this pumpkin brittle. So first, I'm gonna have to come over here to the stove and put 2 cups of sugar in a saucepan. To that, I'm going to add a cup of water. And to that, I am going to add corn syrup, 1 cup. And I have to make sure I get all the goodies out of there. So you're going to put this on medium heat, and you're just going to cook, let it cook, come to a boil on medium heat. Stir that all up together. Now this you do not have to stir, but I'm going to put my candy thermometer in there, and we want it to reach approximately 250 at first, and that's when we're going to add our pumpkin seeds. But until that gets ready, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to butter my slab, because this is where the candy is going to go once it's done. And you're buttering the slab so it doesn't stick. Now if you don't have a slab of marble, that's fine. Just use a cookie sheet, and you could butter your cookie sheet. And be generous with the butter, because the last thing you want it to do is stick. So between now and time for the candy to get done, it's going to take about 10 minutes. So we'll get back to you after that. Okay everybody, it's just about at 248 degrees, and that's where I need it to be for right now. So if you don't have a food thermometer, just put a spoon in there, and when you see that thickness and it's coming off the back of your spoon like that, you know it's ready. It's ready for you to put your seeds in. I'm going to put in about a cup of seeds. If you want, you could put in more. It's totally up to you. And you're going to stir it. Now I'm going to put in my vanilla, my butter, and my baking soda. Now the baking soda is going to make it foam up. Look at that. It's going to make it foam up some. And you want to keep stirring this now. This syrup is going to cook your nuts, or your seeds in this case. I had to lift it off because I don't want it to go over. But my seeds are still cooking. This is what the baking soda does. It foams it up, makes it foam, and then, so it's going to make a nice, light, crisp pumpkin seed brittle. Okay, everybody, I had to change my pot 2 times. Believe it or not, I didn't have a pot that was big enough because the baking soda was making it go over. You want to keep stirring this till it reaches about 300 degrees. You want your color of your taffy or your brittle to be the color of a brown paper bag. At this point, you want to stir it and not stop stirring it. You want it to get nice and thick. And you don't want those seeds, in our case, the pumpkin seeds, or if you decide that you want to use peanuts, you can. You don't want them to stick to the bottom of the pan. So that's the purpose of constantly stirring once you get the seeds or peanuts in. Okay, everybody, after about 20 long minutes of making sure this candy is hard enough, I feel it's all ready. The color, as you can see, is nice and golden brown. And I'm going to pour it on my slab of marble. Or if you don't have the marble, you could pour it on your cookie sheet. Okay. I got my 2 forks here just in case I needed to spread it out to make it a little thin. You could use as many or less nuts as you want. It's totally up to you. Just spread this out. It's going to take a little while to cool off. I'm going to take a little bit of sea salt and just put it on the top. Just kind of brings out the sweetness and takes it to a whole nother level, just a little bit. If you notice, I didn't put any in the recipe. So I'm going to put it on this rack because the rack helps it to cool just a little bit faster. We put it right here on top of the rack. Come back in about 15 minutes and we'll break it up. In the meantime, if you like what you saw, let me know. You can email me. I'll give you the full recipe. My email address is itsallgood@gmail.com. You can look at me on YouTube. It's All Good Teresa Ford, and you'll see all these recipes on there. All right, everybody, as you can see, making brittle is not it's not a hard task as much as it is a being patient task, because making sure this candy is hard, making sure the candy is the right consistency before you cut it up takes time. Okay, so this is the fun part. We're gonna break it up. So I'm gonna take the back of my, see that? Woo, look at that. Taste a little piece. The taffy is hard. I can taste the butter, the vanilla. Delicious, I love it. If you get a chance, make this because it's really, really good. And since it's that time when you can give it away for gifts, you could put a couple pieces in a little container like this, put some parchment paper down, put another piece or 2 on top. Woo! Put it down like that. It still could be, but that's okay. We'll put this on the top. Again, Whoa, it's hard. You could hear it. But anyway, if you want the full recipe, write to me, email me. It's all good. TAH@gmail.com. Check me out on YouTube. Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Comment. Just let me know. Hey, it's been fun. And remember, it's all about the pumpkin. This is the pumpkin season, so use it to your advantage. Yeah.